Affordable housing isn't just a McPherson story, it's a Kansas story. From McPherson County to communities across the state, safe, stable homes are essential for thriving families. At the McPherson Housing Coalition, we're developing emergency shelters like the Oak Harbor Cottages and building permanent supportive homes through projects such as Sutherland Estates, creating housing that includes wraparound care and services. If you believe every Kansan deserves a place to call home, your support matters, whether you're in McPherson or miles away. Learn how you can help listeners and neighbors across Kansas by visiting McPhersonHousingCoalition.org.
Welcome to Housing for Good, a podcast dedicated to housing topics and issues affecting our communities in McPherson County and beyond. With years of experience and expertise, hosts Chris Goodson and Karolyn Moore discuss housing challenges and opportunities with other experts from a variety of housing fields.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Housing for Good. I'm Karolyn.
And I'm Chris.
So, Chris, what do we have for news today?
Well, we have our housing conference coming up on September 25th. Mm-hmm. It starts at 8:30 in the morning. We're going to be having, let's see, who's going to be there? We're going to have somebody from Go Hayes, Doug Williams from Go Hayes will be there.
Grow
Hayes. Excuse me, Grow,
Hayes.
not Go. You could go or you could grow.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
It could be either way.
It could be either way.
So anyways, Grow Hayes, Doug Williams will talk about what they're doing to grow their community. So that'll be really interesting. And then Carissa Paxton from Hutchinson will be talking about how they're trying to grow the city of Hutchinson and the city-county relationships that they've built over there. They have some great relationships.
That's so exciting. She's going to have a really good presentation. She's actually our keynote. So
yeah, I'm excited. Laura Vanderhoof will be there talking about her organization, which is
Set Free,
talking about human trafficking. So we got some great people coming. Please come. And we've lowered the price. How much is it? Like $25 now or
now
something?
You're going to catch me off guard.
I think it's not very much.
Not very much.
So we'll have the website for that up soon, so you'll be able to sign up. And let's see, what else do we have going on? Let me see. I'm looking at my little notes over here. Oh, at 2:15 that same day, we're going to be having a countywide housing meeting. Again, that'll be the third one.
Yep.
So that'll be talking about where are we at with this housing study? Have we moved it forward? Are we making any progress? Do we still have relationships that are missing from this conversation?
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm excited. That's going to be a great conference, and it'll be a great day. So
yeah.
What else?
So today we are joined by Sheila Plooster from Churches United in Ministry. So Sheila, start with the basics. For listeners that may not be familiar with what Churches United in Ministry is, what is it and how did it get started?
The Churches United in Ministry started back in 1968 with a group of churches in McPherson County coming together with an effort to help those in an emergency situation when their needs exceeded like their personal resources by working together in the extension of Jesus' ministry.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they've been around way longer than I thought.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know, neither one of us grew up here at all. Neither one of us grew up in McPherson, so we don't know all these little secret things, right? Yeah. But I'm curious as to what personally drew you to this kind of work and what keeps you going. Because when you work in the nonprofit sector, especially working with people's problems and what's going on with them, that is extremely draining.
So I've always had a passion to help people in some way or another. I absolutely love my job. I've told my husband I'll probably never retire, but, that's down the road. I'm very blessed to be able to help those that are in need of the community. I've been able to meet people, some wonderful people that I would have never met any other place. Can I just share a little bit how I feel like it was a God's calling?
Do it.
Absolutely. Anything you want to say. Awesome.
So I was working at my other job for several years, and things just weren't going well. I wasn't happy there anymore, but I wasn't looking for another job either. I didn't feel like starting over with another job at my age. And one day, one morning, a lady from another department came over and she said, "Sheila, not that you're looking for a job, but I saw a job in the paper that I think you'd be perfect for." I thought, okay, great. I don't get the paper, but that's all right. This is when the McPherson had their Mac Shopper still.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Okay, yeah.
So I went home over my lunch hour, pulled up the Mac Shopper, and there was this job. And I thought, oh, okay, I know who's got that job now. It's a lady from our church. Mm-hmm. And I thought about it more and more, and I thought, what have I got to lose? I'm not going to quit my job now until, something else does come along. So as I got to looking more into it, the person I needed to reply to and fill out a resume for went to my church.
Oh, that's pretty handy. Yeah.
I thought, something's going on here. So anyway, I filled out my resume. I turned it in. I went for my first interview, and it went very smooth. I went home, and I told my husband, something's wrong. I have never been to an interview where I felt so comfortable, so relaxed, so confident. Something's wrong. So that went by, and then they called me in for a second interview. They had narrowed it down to 2 people. That second interview, they called me. I was sick. Oh. I had ear infection in both ears.
Oh, no.
Perforated eardrum. I couldn't talk. I couldn't hear. So I called the board, and I thanked them for the opportunity for the second interview. But I said, I can't make it. I am sick. So just, give it to the other person. Do what you need to do. Mm-hmm. They told me, wait until you feel better.
Oh, wow.
I thought, okay, who does that?
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Yeah.
So the second interview came, and this time it was before the whole board. And again, I just felt so relaxed, so comfortable. And from there on out, here I am. I'm at the Churches United in Ministry. So I know God had his hand in it the whole way.
Yeah. How long have you been there?
It'll be 11 years in November.
Well, It really helps when you love your job.
Yeah,
I love mine too. And it just makes it easier to get up and go to work every day when, regardless of how hard the day before was, when you love what you're doing, you just keep going.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Good,
that's
good deal. So you're working with people at some of the most vulnerable moments of their lives. What types of needs do you most often help with?
I would say the needs that I see most often are help with rent and utilities.
Oh, that's really high. So can you walk us through the process of what that looks like? So if I were to come in and I needed help, how do you determine eligibility? What does that process look like for somebody?
Okay, so I have guidelines that I have to follow, and I have an application. So I have to fill out the application, whether they're there in person or over the phone. And it's basically like their personal information, their income, their expenditures. Then I need to back up a little bit too. I need to find out if they're from McPherson County first, because I can only help in McPherson County. After I do all that, I find out what they're actually needing help with, if it's something I'm able to help with, and why all of a sudden are they needing help with this utility bill, and things have been going smoothly. So just kind of a little interview with them to see what's going on and why at the time.
So if I come in and let's say I have I'm not, considered in poverty, but I need help with some huge medical bill that just happened. I mean, would somebody like me be disqualified automatically, or could somebody, maybe a senior who's got a little bit of means, but they're really struggling? Medical bills are unbelievable and can really hurt somebody's monthly, even if you're doing a really good job of checking your monthly expenses and making sure that everything balances, and then all of a sudden you get these huge medical bills and you can't pay it completely. Can you help with something like that?
So I can't help with medical bills, unfortunately, and that is a big issue. But I do suggest to them if I am able to help with some of their rent or some of their utilities, and then they could take that money that they would use for rent or utilities and apply it towards their medical.
So what can you help with? Is it only rent and utilities or other things?
I can help with rent, utilities, gas vouchers. I can help with some prescriptions. There's certain ones that I cannot take care of. I can help them get glasses and an eye exam.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Clothing, household needs.
Do you have any hotel or motel vouchers?
We do. One thing they don't like me to do is to give a motel voucher to anybody that's had a McPherson County residence. They feel like that person probably knows either friends or family. And besides that, there's only 2 motels that'll take my vouchers. And the other motels won't rent to McPherson County people at all.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you know what? My husband and I have tried to take the kids when they were little. We would take them to the motel to celebrate a birthday or whatever. We could do it years ago, but now if you try to get a motel room for the night and you're a McPherson resident, they won't rent to you. they won't let you get a room.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know what changed, but
I think they've had too many people from McPherson County go in there and party, destroy the rooms. Just those few people that have ruined it for a lot.
It's always the few people that mess it up for everybody else. It's
yes.
Really, yeah.
So sometimes there's a stigma around asking for help. How do you respond to that?
So I understand it's not easy for people to ask for help, and I let them know that don't feel ashamed or embarrassed, because that's what Churches United Ministry is for. And for those making assumptions, I let them know that sometimes people just need help for some reason or another. And we never know if one of those days it could be one of us that need help and we need to reach out for something. Something out of our control happens maybe, and we have to go seek some help. This is just an extra little push to get them on their right track again.
That's a really good attitude, is making assumptions. I just wrote an article about making assumptions, how we think we know why people are coming into our properties. And a lot of times people have no clue that that person had a house fire or this happened or a medical emergency, or there's a million reasons why somebody could find themselves homeless. And it could happen to any one of us.
Yeah, I just got a phone call this week from a lady that her brother had a house fire, and now all of a sudden they can't live in their house. So until that gets fixed, they're homeless.
Well, and the other part is, even if they have means, it doesn't mean they're going to be able to find a place.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we have a shortage of rental properties, and what you can find a lot of times, they want a whole year lease, and there's all this stuff. So emergency housing especially is important for everybody, because you don't know if your house is going to burn, then what are you going to do? The Red Cross will put you up for a week or so.
They'll do 3 days.
Oh, 3 days. And that's not really enough for somebody to figure it out. Or even sometimes there's not always the availability of family. Not everybody here. I mean, you have to think about it, especially in our community where we have all these big jobs. A lot of people come here, they're not from here, and they move into these big places, and, you just don't know. So anyways, so on the podcast, we often talk about the importance of seeing people for who they really are, not just their circumstances. How does that perspective shape the way you lead and serve through this ministry?
So I have learned, and I will tell you, working at this job too, my faith has grown so much more. But I know we are not to judge. We're all human, and sometimes there are situations out of our control. Over the years of doing this job, I have left. If I would have just taken somebody and listened to their circumstances, I would not have gotten to know those people for who they really are and what they are really capable of. So I just don't feel like, we need to judge. And, through this process of this job and stuff, I have made some really good friends. And I think if I had just listened to their circumstances, not got to know them, I wouldn't have had the chance to meet those people and to become friends with those people. And I just try to be genuine and open and honest with them.
Yeah. So we haven't really touched on this. I thought about it a question or two back, but is there a limit on how much you can help a family or how often they can get help?
There is a dollar limit.
Okay.
And there's also a limit on how many times I can help somebody. I can help somebody for that whole year until that dollar limit is up.
Okay.
But then once I've used all that dollar limit for that family, they have to wait a year from the first time I helped them.
Okay.
So if I help them in June and I used all of their funding, I can't help them until a year from June.
Okay.
And that's just to spread out everything that you have so it doesn't get all wiped out right away.
Correct.
Right? Because I know we have to be really careful about how we do our grants as well, because we could sometimes spend all the money on one or two people and then that's it.
Yeah.
There's no more money left for anybody else. And so you have to be really careful. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not enough, though. Somebody finds themselves in a huge hole, and we all have to sort of pitch in together to try to help them. And sometimes it's still not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
And I can help people like 2 years in a row if needed. And then that third year, they have to be out of the system. After that, if they have to come back, we just have to reevaluate and see what's going on or what's not working for them or what might work better for them.
Yeah.
So do you work with them on a case management level? You're not saying, getting them to think about maybe other alternatives to the situation that they're in. Do you do that at all?
Sometimes I do talk to people. I have people that sometimes just cannot get out of the hole they're in. And when I look at their situation, it's like, okay, if you do away with this or you do away with that, get out from under some of those debts that you don't need, that maybe that can help you out a little bit. Or, find a full-time job if capable instead of like a part-time job. I do encourage people that, any job is a paycheck. Even if it's something you don't like, you still have a paycheck coming in to help out with things.
Well, and I know one thing that I'm seeing is storage units. They're like right now, my husband and I, we sold a property. We had all the stuff that was on that property. I have a storage unit. But I don't plan on keeping that any longer than I have to. And it kills me when people are paying for a storage unit month after month after month, and they can't even tell you what's in there anymore. And it's like, why are you paying, $68 or $110 every month? That is money that you are just flushing down the drain. And I'm sure that you run into that too, where you're talking with them and then you realize, okay, you've got this big hole that you're dumping money into every month that you need to do something about that. So
it's funny you say that. I just had a case the other day that they had a storage unit. And I said, so what's in it? And they kind of told me what was in it, some of the stuff. I said, are you needing it right now? My philosophy, if you haven't used it in a year, then you don't need it. So
exactly.
Get rid of it. Don't pay that expensive a storage unit. Sell the stuff if you need to while it's still good and people can get use out of it.
Yeah, and there's a way point. And there's a way to get some money for whatever situation you're in is to sell that. I know that it's hard. I have little places. I don't have a storage unit. I have this giant building that we're in.
Yeah.
So I have an entire attic full of not only my personal possessions, but my mom's, my son's. You just don't even know what's up there. I saw every once in a while I threaten them. I'll say, okay, look. This is ridiculous. You can barely get up there.
Yeah.
So slowly, but things disappear.
Yeah.
I think we've given some of our dressers to the Housing Coalition. I said, we don't need 5 dressers up here. Why are they up here?
They're empty.
I get it, because people are really attached. It's pets that they're attached to and their stuff.
Their stuff.
Yeah.
So, Sheila, is there a story or a moment that's really stayed with you, something that reminds you why the work you do matters?
There's several stories, but there's one that kind of really sticks to me. And it was a couple years ago. We had a family of 5. They were homeless. They were living in their vehicle. Sometimes it's hard enough with 5 in a household, if you can imagine living in a vehicle for a while. And I'm not going to go into a lot of the details, but the money was really short. It just wasn't working for them to get a house or an apartment or anything. So with Churches United in Ministry and then the help of other resources from different organizations in the community, we were able to put them in an affordable housing, got them moved in, got them all settled, and to this day, they seem to be doing really good. They've never had to come back and ask for help at all.
It's amazing what a house can do for people.
Yeah.
When you can get them stabilized, if you can get a house and get them stable. So we know that housing is just one piece of the puzzle. How do you see Churches United in Ministry intersecting with broader issues like housing insecurity? That should be an easy one. She smiles a lot over here, so I'm seeing her smiling during these questions. I think her brain is like clicking up there.
So housing is a big piece of the puzzle. I think the bigger piece is affordable housing. McPherson is a rich community, but rentals are ridiculous. And people just can't afford those, so they have to sometimes make choices. Do I pay rent or do I buy groceries?
Right.
So I think if we had some more affordable housing, that would help a lot. I get it a lot of times that people call me and they want to know, do you know of any rental available? I'm looking for such and such. And it's like, I am not a rental place, I tell them. I don't know of rentals. And I think sometimes if we just had something in the community that had a list of rentals or places for them to go to look for rentals, that might even help a little bit.
So do you know about rentmcpherson.com?
I do, but that's never really up to date.
Not really. Well, there are some listings on there that have been there forever, but there are some of our managers, property people that will put their listings there. The problem is not everybody does.
Right.
But you kind of fall into that same category that I do, in that you need to have resources in your brain for all kinds of stuff, because people are going to ask questions and you don't have what they need necessarily, but you can point them in the right direction. And so, yeah, I love how you say, I'm not in real estate, but.
Yeah, so they can go to social media. There's like 3 or 4 of those sites. But you're right, there really is no good central place for people to go online and find, especially affordable ones, because they go really fast.
Correct.
I mean, I talked to a lady yesterday. Her rent is $1,400 a month, and she's in a huge hole right now. We have no resources to help her in her situation. We have no Section 8. We're not in charge of the Section 8 vouchers. Yeah. There's a waiting list for those, and it's really, really hard. So that was one thing. I can't remember, but I think I'm trying to remember what our housing study said, but there was a significant amount of rental housing we needed for our families that showed up on that report, which isn't surprising to anybody that works in this field, that we need affordable housing.
So, Sheila, your work is such a great example of what can happen when people and organizations come together. In your view, what role should local churches or faith communities play when it comes to tackling issues like poverty and housing?
So I say if you make sure the community has something in place, let the community get more involved, let the middle class and upper class get more involved and help those people to get out of that poverty.
You know, one resource that I like to use is credit counseling. You know, it used to be free. Now they charge a little bit. But, you know, when you speak with a credit counselor, they can really help you evaluate where do you spend your money and make some choices that overall, in the long run, will improve your situation.
Yeah.
Because it does take hard work to pull yourself out of poverty, and you sometimes can't do it by yourself.
How do you think that we can all connect with one another? You guys, Churches United Ministry, McPherson Housing Coalition. You know, we haven't mentioned Reuse It Center. They're a great resource for the nonprofits as far as giving money. We have our food banks. We have Gosh, I can't even name them all.
We say we have 41 partnerships or agencies we work with in McPherson County. So there are a lot of agencies trying to work together. I think we can always do a little bit better job.
Yeah.
That's one reason I love this podcast and having people come and talk about what they do and how their agency works. And so thank you so much for being here today. Is there anything else that you would like to share about the work you do or what you guys are able to provide?
I just think, if we can keep the communications open with the different resources, it would be surprising that just how many people we can help, by just talking and saying, hey, so-and-so's needing this. Do you know where we can go to find that resource? So I think communication with all the different resources is a big step. Other than that,
I think the community used to have a group years ago where some of the nonprofits would get together. This has been a long time ago. And then they would say, well, okay, we have this person, and they put the case up. Sally has 10 kids. I'm making this up, of course. And she needs rent, utilities, and somebody would say, hey, I can take care of the rent. And somebody else would say, hey, I can take care of the diapers. And they would all it was really a cool thing. I don't know what happened to it. I know Connie Grandin was in it, and somebody from your organization. We were there. I can't remember who was all, but
Was that the Resource Council?
Yes. I don't know what happened to it.
So they kind of still exist. They don't have those monthly meetings. Ever since COVID, they just kind of diminished things.
I mean, I saw a lot of cool things happen there. They would take a family and they would figure out what was going on with them, and then everybody would say, I could do that, I could do this. Like you said, everybody was connecting and talking to each other, so we're not... The worst thing you can do for a family is to have them running all around town trying to find resources.
Yeah.
They get very discouraged if they have to go from one place to the other.
Well, you can't work when I'm trying to find food or trying to get rent or utilities. How am I supposed to have a job? Keep a job?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard. But anyways.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This was really fun to hear about Churches United in Ministry and the work you do. Even though we know, because we have talked and we do work together, a lot of our listeners maybe don't know about you. So thank you very much for being our guest. And for those listening, if you would be interested or you know someone who would be interested in being on our podcast, Housing for Good, drop us a line. You can leave us a review at housingforgood@mcphersonhc.org. Be sure to click that like button or follow us. And thank you for listening.
And have a great day.